What's up, guys? Welcome to another video of DevTalks with your host Traven, where we talk about everything engineering technology-wise. And in this video, we're actually going to dive into some comments that Neo CEO, the bot that they just released out to people to start pre-ordering and all that other fun stuff, made comments about the safety. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let's dive into what they had to say.
Other than that, use the autonomy.
You do have a 66-pound robot,
Yep.
right? And I believe he can lift almost 150 pounds.
Yep.
That's a heavy piece of machinery to have in a home.
As a robot, it's an extremely light piece of machinery, but it's still a heavy piece of machinery. It starts from first principles. Why are people safe? Generally, if I tripped and fell on you, it might be painful, would probably be awkward, but you're not going to die. That is because I'm very low energy. When I am moving, there's very little energy in my motions. Also, I'm soft, right? Okay, so first of all, we need to make Neo soft. Now, if you make Neo soft, and Neo is about 5'6", so if you're 5'6" and you're soft, and then you fall on someone, what can you weigh before this is dangerous? And this is a scientific question, right? And there is good data. You look at the actual data on impacts on human bodies and likelihood of concussion or serious injury and all these kind of things. It's like 70-ish pounds. We put 66 as the goal because we want to have some margin. Then how fast can the robot actually move and still be safe? Again, it's just an energy question. So currently the answer is around 5 meters per second, which is about the speed of like most humans if you're not training for being fast. That's how fast Neo can move.
Do you let Neo near your kids?
I do, but I also make sure that my kids know how to behave around the robot. We are deploying with safety in mind from day one. We will not select the first early adopter to be someone who has a toddler, right? That does not make sense. But we'll make sure we get there as quickly as possible and that we are iteratively proving out safety. And that's also part of the journey.
So that's actually very important. She's going to get into another point that starts to flare some red flags, right? And some people might say, hey, Neo not being able to be around children and things like that, especially for the early adopters. Okay, they're going into the aspect of not giving it to children. That's better than what all these AI companies did. They let children run free with it, and now there's children committing suicide from it. We've covered it on this channel. So, hey, let's keep it away from the children because, as he said, that energy question about it falling on you and whatever, what if it falls on a little toddler? Is it dangerous for them or for just adults or what? And those kind of concepts, there's things you have to think about. But the good thing he said in this context right here, he said he teaches his children how to act around the robot. This is very, very important. It's actually an extremely important question or statement because we always talk about, especially on this channel, we always talk about all the best ways for people who have children to go about certain things, how to be parenting properly and all this other fun stuff that, especially with this new wave of technology, how to go about it. We cover a lot of that on this channel. So what's the best way? Hey, let's prepare our children. Let's go with it. Let's work with them alongside it so they can get familiar, know how to act, and all these other extremes where you might have some parents that might get this and they won't go that route with taking the proper measures of, hey, this is how you act around this robot in this house. This is how we have to be careful and safe and all this other stuff. And then accidents happen, and then now the company's at fault because of the neglect of proper training and teaching on how to be around certain stuff, especially if you're getting it for the house. I told y'all I don't even trust having one of these yet. So, whoopity-doo.
Neo's in my house and it's working and it decides, you know what? I'm just going to go take this very large table and try to drop it on Joanna. Maybe your operator decides that. Maybe your AI decides that.
Well, those two are very different. So if the operator decides that, then that's the same as the cleaner that you have hired coming into your house, picking up your table and dropping it on you. Except we can actually control safety here way better. These operators, they have a manager that is actually seeing what's going on with the operators and ability to intervene, and we have like dual layers of safety. So we can actually provide a better safety than if you had someone come over. And we also run very deep qualification checks for the people that get to be operators. That doesn't mean that there's no risk, but I think we can do that a lot better than what you are accepting today. Now, when it comes to AI safety, that's a deep research problem and something that we're spending an enormous amount of time on. And this comes down to aligning models, right? Any AI model that is not well aligned can do something that is harmful. Now, to ensure that this does not happen, we do run multiple systems. So we also run inspector systems that just have like very simple goals of like there are specific things the robot is not allowed to do because it might be unsafe. And then the model itself, which is trained to be safe. That's going to be a continuing research and a continuing thing on the product development through the years, right? And we're nowhere near done with everything we're doing here.
Is there a kill switch on Neo?
Yes, there is.
Where?
Not disclosed yet. But it's.
You're going to tell people though where it is.
We are going to tell people.
Okay.
We're actually going through the final testing right now on like where it should be for. We have a couple of options open, but again, you are always in control, right? There's a physical safety switch. There's also a configurable stop word where you can, whatever the robot is doing, it will stop everything.
Okay.
If you tell it. And that's an override. It's a separate system.
One nightmare example.
Now, before we get to the nightmare example, because I saw the kitchen table one, I told you this is where red flags start to come in, but still, we're getting to the response eventually about the nightmare example and the comment that he makes. But this is all something that you want to hear in some context, especially when you have a robot that's in your home. Hey, where's the kill switches at? Hey, right now, they don't have a physical one. There are plans to implement one, but they'll have to let you know later on where it's going to be and things like that because they're still trying to figure it out because the bot's not even released yet, so they don't know where the end physical design is. And plus, remember, he said it's currently at 70 pounds. They're trying to get it down to 66, so they're still doing a lot of work on configuring how this robot's going to look and feel in a kind of context. He actually said there's going to be an operator word to get it to stop, like a safe word, and go through the software for it to actually like cut completely. Now, can the AI override it on its own potentially one day if certain things are configured incorrectly? Maybe, for the safe word. Who knows? If the robots know how to program themselves or they have somebody in the inside, like these operators that say they get a bad apple for one of those people who are the operators and they go in and start doing a bunch of crazy stuff and attack people. There are risks in that sense. That's why he said there's still going to be some risk, but for the most part, they do a lot of background checks and who can be those actual operators who look at these switches and all these different layers, security layers, to make sure you're protected. And it's the same context, he is correct. It is probably safer than having a new stranger come into your home in some context where a stranger can do anything to you. They can rob from you, they can steal from you, they can hurt you, they can do a lot of different stuff. Who knows? It's really hard to bring strangers into your home, especially without supervision. So Neo can do a lot of more stuff without supervision. I'm guessing they're trying to deploy this whole safety aspect, right? Especially since it can lift up to 150 pounds, but it cannot carry 150 pounds. We looked at the specs in the last video that I covered about this, but yeah, so far so good.
Neo turns on the stove and throws some paper on and walks away. Mm-hmm. Can Neo do that? Will Neo do that?
Neo will not do that. Physically, can the robot do that? Yes. Physically, can a lot of products in your home do something dangerous if they decided to? Yes. But again, like we will ensure that that is not something that Neo is allowed to do. There are multiple.
And that's the thing that I think somebody's cut and snipped the clip together about the table and dropping it on them and things. And he brings up how a lot of other products can do and have the possibility of doing dangerous stuff to you. But in that same context, he's wrong. He's wrong because my toaster is not physically able to put a piece of paper inside of itself and light the whole house on fire. My stove cannot grab paper and do certain things like that. This robotic can. A lot of times when it's a fault of these other machinery in people's homes, it's not the machinery's fault all the time, or even if it is, it's some type of electrical issue or something else crazy happened. And tragic incidents happen all the time, but it cannot physically put itself in a position to cause harm that these robotics physically can't in a context. So that kind of wording right there, and we can go back in a second and just double hear the take that he gave right here.
Yes, but physically, can a lot of products in your home do something dangerous if they decided to? Yes, but
If they decided to, what other products in my home can decide to do something like that? I don't use no Alexas in here. Like, what other products in people's homes? What you mean, a figure bot? One of the figure threes that we're gonna cover on this channel hopefully tomorrow, because I'm getting a little late on that. Wait, what are you talking about? The figure three? That's the product? I'm not gonna have multiple robots walking around in here. Got me beat. You out of your mind. Talking about some, yeah, any other products can physically do. No, they cannot. And that's really what I wanted to go over. And Wall Street Journal did an amazing job interviewing him. I just want to say, whoever the reporter or the interviewer is right there, she did a wonderful job. I suggest everybody go look at the full interview if you want to get more context on different sections. And if you want me to cover specific sections of that interview after you've seen it, let me know in the comments and I'll do it. I really will. I'm more than happy to do anything so everybody can pick up on more and more information or context on different stuff. But that wording that he just said is feasibly incorrect. It is completely incorrect because that's just not how things go. That's not how things work out. It's just not true. That robot would be the only thing that can physically do something like that as far as machinery and hardware on its own. I'm just saying. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate you all. Thank you for sticking around. Once again, if you have any suggestions, send me an email, devtalkspod@gmail.com. Without further ado, peace. See y'all next time.